So I help people move here to Northeast Tennessee every single day. But when I moved to this area 7 years ago, I made every single mistake that you could think of. I hired the wrong agent, I looked at the wrong houses, I had no real clear plan what I was doing. I just found someone on Zillow and said, tell me what to do. That couldn't be further from what a good plan should be. If you are moving to Tennessee, these mistakes that I'm gonna talk about today could cost you thousands of dollars. So I've talked about it before. I moved here from a different part of the state for a job. I wasn't always in real estate. I used to work in healthcare. Like many of you, I didn't know anything about the area, and this was before YouTube and videos about the area even became a thing. So I went to the internet and I couldn't find any homes that I liked. Now we could say that was operator error. I didn't know how to use Zillow, but I just couldn't find what I wanted out here. But looking back on the process and what happened, I was the least educated. And if you guys can figure it out, I'm type A. I'm pretty, this is how it's gonna go type of guy. But I was the furthest from that during the whole transaction. So here's everything I wish someone would have told me before I moved here to the area. All right, here's mistake number one. Working with an agent I found on the internet. Now I'm talking about the infamous contact agent button on Zillow and Realtor.com. Y'all know that doesn't connect you with the listing agent, right? That connects you with an agent that Zillow sold your information to, and now they are on the hook for thousands of dollars to connect with you. So I'm just gonna ask you, do you feel like you're gonna get any pressure throughout the course of this relationship? But for me, the person I worked with was nice. She was a nice person. She was great. I have nothing against her. But when it comes to buying the biggest asset you currently have, or one of the biggest assets you currently have, does it not make sense to interview at least more than one person or research and look at reviews? Because I came to the table thinking all realtors are the same. I think you could probably believe that's really not the case. Because buying a home isn't as easy as finding something on Amazon and throwing it in your cart and clicking purchase now. I came into the relationship thinking that they had all the advice and all the guidance, and what it turned into was, well, just let me know what you want to do. And that was the thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. I had never relocated in my life. I had only bought one home before, and that was relatively simple, but now it was a completely different thing, a new area I didn't know anything about. And what happened was I let them dictate how it was going to work, and there really wasn't a ton of collaboration. I didn't interview anyone else. I didn't look at anyone's reviews. I didn't ask any questions. I didn't learn their process. I didn't ask them how many times they had done this before with working with relocating clients. I didn't ask about their local knowledge base about the area and what made best work for me based on what I wanted. And more importantly, I didn't ask about their communication style, because the goal wasn't to find an agent. The goal was to find a trusted advisor. But I was just so focused on getting it done, I blew past all those questions, found someone who would message me back, and that was it. I didn't need someone to just unlock doors for me. I needed someone to unlock clarity for me and my wife. All right, here it is, mistake number two. I was looking at all sorts of different types of homes, because here's the thing, I had a value number, I had a budget, and I was looking to get the best bang for my buck, the best value, the absolute most amount of house relative to the budget I could spend. Here's where I'm going to tell you where I went wrong. I had absolutely no clarity. No one asked me any questions. No one really got to the bottom what I was looking for. We looked at new construction. We looked at raised ranches. We looked at like some mini farms. I had some acreage. We looked at older historic homes, townhomes, and condos. We looked at everything. That was such a waste of time. Honestly, it got us way more tired and fatigued throughout the process than getting clarity and focusing on the one thing we were really wanting, which was turnkey. We didn't want to have to bother with anything. But the problem was, without clarity, every listing felt possible. Everything felt like, hey, we could make this work. So if our principle is to get the best value for our budget, we first have to figure out what is the goal. What are we after? What was our focal point? For us, it was turnkey. We didn't want to have to update anything. So we ended up buying a new construction. But because we had that clarity after we had looked at a ton of homes and got super tired. Oh my gosh, we probably looked at over 10 in one day. But that was the wrong way to do it. What we really should have done was sit down, get clarity on what is the core, what is a perfect home, what does it look like, how do we fast forward to 6 months, and we both look at each other and we say, wow, we we are actually excited that we made this move. What was that? What type of home? Because if we did that first, we would have had the clarity and then only focused on the homes that fit into that box. Because I wish somebody would have asked me, do you care about an HOA? Do you care if you have to update one major system like the HVAC or the roof or put new windows in? Do you care about having older charm, or is modern finishes more important to you? Because if they would have asked those questions and then some other ones, we probably would have eliminated at least half of the houses we looked at. Because what we were doing was looking at homes that had a major no, but we didn't know the major no was there until we got there. But the major no could have been brought out of us if we had a really good advisory sit-down client meeting. We wouldn't have looked at half of those because we would have known that's even not in the area, the neighborhood that we even need to look at. The third mistake people have made, and I made this as well when moving to this area, was not knowing what location in relation to where their life happens that they should be looking at. Frankly, I didn't research the areas deep enough. So Google will tell you one thing, but I didn't drive around. I didn't get a feel for, I didn't really know what part of the map was a yes and what part of the map was a no. Because I didn't define my lifestyle and what was important to me, because then I would have been able to know where to look. And honestly, this was a huge mistake for us. We really should have gotten clarity on what neighborhoods fit us the most, or what areas fit us the most, how the traffic patterns impacted us relative to the job I was working. For us, the local feel was very important coming from a big city because we wanted to know where families were living, people our age with kids, growing families. And that may not be where you're at right now, but the question is still the same. Where are people like me? And where's the future growth? Where's the best investment that at least I'll see some sort of appreciation in the future? We should have asked all those questions before we signed a contract on a home, and we didn't. So now when I do my sit downs and I offer up my advisory services for my clients, we first look at the local anchors. We look at what's most important to them. We look at what is their life centered around. Is there one specific thing, or are there multiple things? And then we go from there. We find the areas that fit into the box for the best home for them, because there's multiple different ones. I hope you understand that. It's not this area is the only place for me. That's the great thing about the Tri-Cities, is that I could find you what you're looking for in various different things. We just have to really define what is the most important to you. That may be examples like grocery stores, the hospital, your place of work, your place of worship, your gym, your hobbies if you like to go fishing, mountain biking, hiking on the trail, you just want a mountain view, golfing, whatever it is. We are going to be able to get really good clarity. It all starts with a really good sit down and question and answer session, figuring out what matters the most to you, and then applying which area may be the best. Because the home might be perfect, but if you hate the drive every day, you'll eventually hate the house. Okay, so here's mistake number 4 people make, and I made as well when moving to this area. My daily routine. I didn't really dig deep into what a Tuesday would look like. So that means getting up, going to the gym, doing whatever my morning routine is, going to work, coming home, having to grab something from the grocery store. I didn't think into that. I thought about, hey, on a perfect day where I have all the time in the world, this is what my drive will look like. Nope, not at all, right? So we have to get into what does your daily routine look like, and how does the home you're looking at or the area you're looking at factor into that? What type of gym do you like to go to? There's multiple places for you to work out in this area, different types of gyms, but if that's a huge focal point for your life, let's be honest, then we have to look into where we could best fit that in. Your work, your commute to the grocery store, your place of worship, your go-to coffee shop, your kids' activities, your kids' school, being outside, hiking and fishing and hanging out with friends, all these things have to factor in, because again, you're not buying a home, you're buying a place you'll live, and you're buying a lifestyle that goes all along with it. So earlier in the video, I talked about what I was clear on. I wanted a new construction, I wanted move-in ready, I didn't want to have to deal with anything, right? Because in my head, I thought I could handle small projects, but when it got down to it, my wife and I were moving here. We had an 18-month-old. She was very pregnant with our second child, and time was not going to happen, right? So I got clear, I wanted a new construction, but I bought one. I'd never done this before, right? So I wasn't privy to how that process worked, because it's very different from a resale home. And this was the biggest issue with that. No one told me what I could do. Only now that I'm in real estate and I have my own systems and processes and I have my own ways of doing things that I realized I could have done way more, but no one told me, no one gave me the opportunity, and more importantly, no one empowered me to be able to go to the builder and say, I want this done. This wasn't handled the right way. This needs to be handled before closing, after closing. Didn't get any warranty information. That was it. We signed the paperwork, we went away. That was it. And honestly, there was a lot of minor cosmetic things that were missed. And you may say, oh, there was a nail missing in the molding. That's not that big of a deal. But when one thing happens and another and another and another, and you have no idea who to call and what to do, yeah, you're gonna get pretty frustrated like I did. So my mistake was that I bought a new construction, but I didn't know how the process worked. I didn't have empowerment. I didn't know what to do because I thought someone would handle it and it wasn't. All of that stuff should have been handled before closing, not after. It wasn't handled at all, actually. But no one took the time to educate me, to walk every room with me, to take a moment and just breathe and help me figure out what needed to be done to make sure that I was happy in the future. And here's the last mistake I made and that others make when they move to this area. I didn't have someone slowing me down. I didn't have an advisor. I didn't have someone asking me questions to make sure I was comfortable with what was happening. I had someone help me and they were great. But what I really needed was somebody to say, hey, slow down, take a moment. Let's figure out what needs to be true for you to be happy. And then let's start taking action. This is probably my biggest mistake and my biggest regret because I'm very type A. I think I've referenced that before. I'm a let's build the plane while we're flying it type of guy. If you're type A, you know what I'm saying. I'm more about action than I am trying to calm down and figure something out. And over the years, I've gotten better, but when it came to the home buying process, on top of the job I was working, again, we had the 18-month-old and my wife was very pregnant with our second child. I was, hey, let's get it done. We just need to get it done. It needs to be done. That was the theme. It needs to be done. Because my mindset was, hey, I've got this. Don't worry. Reality was, I didn't. I didn't have it whatsoever. I needed someone willing to challenge me. I needed somebody willing to ask me tough questions, not being disrespectful, not being a jerk, but just asking me real questions. Hey, in 3 years, you look back, are you happy? If no, why? If yes, why? I needed someone willing to say, well, hold on, let's think about this for a second. Are you comfortable? If not, what would make you comfortable? Because being motivated is great. I don't lack that. Motivation is not hard for me to find. But I was pretending to know everything. I wasn't stopping to ask questions. My ego was getting in the way, and that cost me. Here's a point I want to make for you. Good advisors don't speed you up. They slow you down enough to help you make the best decision. So here's what it comes down to. This is my advice to you. If I was moving here again, this is what I would do. I would spend way less time looking at actual homes and more time developing a plan around what my perfect lifestyle looked like, and then only focusing on the type of home I liked in the areas that I liked. It's not hard for an agent to go out there and show you 10 to 15 homes in one weekend. It is hard for an agent to sit down with you, help you get clarity, and then apply a plan that gets you the best result. So you don't need to know everything. You just need to connect with somebody who's willing to ask you the questions that you don't have the answers to yet. So if you're looking to relocate to Northeast Tennessee, whether that's next month or in 8 years from now, my team and I can walk you through this exact process on what not to do to help you get clarity to find the perfect home in the perfect location for you. By sitting down and asking you questions, we'll help you find the best area that you're going to be the happiest in. And we're going to help you avoid every single mistake I just talked about today. So on our website, you'll find the link to connect with us so we could schedule a Zoom or a phone call to get deeper into what this whole process looks like for you. Hey, if this video helped you, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. We're posting new content every week, and don't be afraid to reach out. We are never too busy to connect with you.